don't hang your APs on your wall like a clock. That's not the way they go. Welcome back to another little training video. In this one, we're going to continue in the series of Wi-Fi design rules, how to do better wireless LAN designs. And if you follow the rules, like any rule, it helps you. Now, there are times, of course, when you might have to break the rules. But for the most part, don't put your APs on the wall like a clock. You want to hang them down from the ceiling. That's the way they're designed. Now, when I say that, you're like, but why? So let's get in and see what happens in the why part. On the screen, I have a copy of Ekahau. Ekahau is running. I have an access point placed in the middle of a football field. I'm using a football field because you've been out on a big grassy place. This one happens to be an American football field, and about every 10 yards or every 10 meters, there's a line, so you can get an idea. This access point is setting in the middle of the field and covers 60, 70 meters in every direction. It has an Omni antenna. Let's zoom in a bit and look at that Omni antenna. Let's switch over here, and I'm going to change to 2.4 gigahertz so we can see the 2.4 radio. Come over in and zoom in a little bit and see the actual radio itself. Here on the right it's a Zone Flex R710, 2.4 gigahertz. I'm setting it at 8 dBm is the power level. And this is what its antenna pattern looks like. Azimuth, or the horizontal view, or elevation. And elevation is, if you think of that, an elevation on a house, it's the front view. This is the vertical view or the side view of the access point. So when you place it on the ceiling, pointing down, there's a little picture here. You can see a little picture of the AP pointing down, or zero degrees offset. Well, this is the way this access point was designed to be installed. Now, they do have other access points, specifically ones that have like 4 Ethernet ports on them, maybe a VLAN made for hospitality. They stick them on the wall, like in a little gang box. Those are specifically made to be hung in that direction. This access point, like most access points, has been designed to be mounted on the ceiling, pointing down, dome down. If you make the mistake, and a lot of people do, I see it on a lot of forums where people think they did something and taught you something right because they really didn't understand. And yet, because Wi-Fi is so incredibly resilient, when you do it wrong and you break the rules, Wi-Fi still works. So people don't get punished for making mistakes and they go propagate. Let me show you the actual thing that happens. And there's 2 really important things that happen when you place an access point on the wall, kind of hang it like a clock. If I hang this one on the wall like a clock, it's like taking this and moving it up to 90 degrees. Now, when I let go here, you're going to see the same effect happen as soon as I let go on the screen. Now, I'm going to come back up here and say for this access point, I change the 2.4. And now this is a result. It happens to be pointing up, so I'm going to move it to the side just so it's a little more obvious. I'm going to grab the antenna, move it over, and there you see the results. It still has coverage, about half the coverage it had before. So it's just not going back the other way. By rotating it and tilting it the way it was not supposed to go, we took the signal pattern and we pushed it another direction. It's not going the direction we want it to go. Oh, that's sad. Yeah, that's what happens when you put it on the wall. It changed the directionality of where the access point was covering. It's no longer an Omni. Well, actually, it's an Omni. It's just rotated up vertically, and it's covering upstairs and downstairs rather than the floor that we're on. So one of the reasons not to put an AP on the wall like a clock is its antenna pattern was not designed for that place, and you will get other signal. If we come here behind it, oh, we're still getting a signal. It just happens to be a neg 79. So the people on one side of the AP have even worse than they had before. The other side still works. But the other part of this is access points are designed with antennas that have polarization. In this case, it was vertically polarized, meaning the signal was going up and down as it left the access point when it was oriented in its original form. So the signals were going this way. Now that we rotated it 90 degrees to the side, now the signals are now horizontal. The receivers in this case will receive about 6 dB less signal because of the cross polarization. So not only do one, they cover an area that you thought was covered and it's not. You can see over here, it's got this big hole. Two, the receivers who are still in the coverage zone are going to have a lower signal. We're not taking, and Ekahau isn't taking into effect right now, the 6 dB lower signal. If I just force that on here, I can say, yeah, really, what's going to happen? I needed to show 6 dB higher. And that's what the pattern would end up looking like for those people. Again, like all rules, when you break it, Wi-Fi still works. It's just if you want to do it correctly and you want to be efficient, how about if we just do things the way they were designed to go? Let's see if I can get back to 0. And then we have the coverage that we always wanted. If you have any further questions, come out to wirelesslandprofessionals.com. We have lots of resources for you to learn from and to share with. Thanks for being part of the community.